Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu. If you are new here and you want to be part of the graceful, the beautiful, the positive, and the wonderful family, you are welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the beautiful, the wonderful, and the graceful family. And welcome back to another episode of Employment Wednesdays, where we discuss all things employment, whether it's searching for a job, whether it's trying to get a promotion, whether it's trying to leave one job for another, whether it's trying to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is, but it's all things relating to employment, creating employment, being in employment, finding employment, anything you can think of. So today we're going to talk about something very, very interesting and something that people often ignore. We're going to talk about the importance of understanding your employment contract and the importance of reading your employment contract. Guys, hear me and hear me out. Do not, for whatever reason, just sign an employment offer, because I know finding a job is very difficult, and the first thing you want to do is seal the deal whenever you get the offer. But that's not good for you or the company. So it's very, very important that you actually take your time when you get your employment offer. Ask the person offering you, whether it's the HR that you spoke to or the director of the company, whatever the case may be. Ask the person you communicating with to say, hey, can you give me a day or two to actually go over this employment contract? Then I'll be able to submit a signed one after understanding the terms and conditions of the employment contract. And just not the employment contract, every contract that you get, guys, whether it's a project that you need to do, whether it's a sorry guys, please excuse me, there's something distracting me. Whether it's sorry about that. Whether it's an employment contract, whether it's your insurance policy contract, whether it's your project contract, but it's important that you understand the terms of that particular contract that you are going into, right? So I'm going to tell you the reasons why it's important for you to actually understand your contract, read it before you actually sign it, right? Because the moment you sign it, you're actually binding yourself to the contract. You are agreeing with the writer of the contract to say, hey, I agree with everything you're saying. And it's not wise to agree to something that you don't understand or something that you haven't read. So first things first, when you read an employment contract, it normally tells you about the kind of job that you're supposed to do, your responsibilities, your duties. So you become familiar with your job. You become familiar with what is expected of you. That's one. Secondly, it tells you how many hours you should work in a day. Some companies start from 9 to 5, some companies start from 8 to 4, some companies start from 7 to 3. It depends on each company. Some companies will tell you that we don't really have a knock of time, like some of us lawyers, you're always on the job. Your laptop must always be on, because anytime anytime you can receive instruction. So it's very, very important, so that you know your working hours, you know your overtime. And also the very important part, the reason why we enter into employment contracts or any contracts, the monetary value of it, or the value of the contract. Like projects, they'll tell you that this contract is worth 5 million. Then you know how to budget and plan your things. In an employment contract, they'll tell you that, okay, fine, you get paid 9,000 Rand a month. Then you now know whether that's your net salary, that's your gross salary, whether you've got medical aid, comes and tells you about benefits. So now also it eliminates any unnecessary expectations, because once you've read your contract, if you know that you don't have a medical aid, you take it upon yourself to get a medical aid. If you know that you don't have UIF, you take it upon yourself to actually confront your employer and say, hey, why am I not registered for UIF? Those kind of things. So it allows you to be able to actually know what's going on and be able to execute your responsibilities fully. And most importantly, like some of us, we love socializing, we love going away on holidays, we love resting. I believe in the power of rest. Like when I'm exhausted, when I'm burnt out, there's nothing I do properly. And so because we believe in all of that, you must know your leave days. You must know how to apply for leave days, the number of leave days that you're entitled to, and all of that. Because if you don't know that, you may apply for leave or just go and leave, and then the next thing you are fired. Because each company has its own procedures on how a person can get a leave. Also, termination clause. Some company will tell you, you find all of this in your employment contract. Some companies will tell you that, okay, also it tells you what kind of contract it is. Is it permanent? Is it fixed? Is it temporary? You know, you're able to know so that if you need to look for another job in 2 weeks, in a month, in 2 months, you're able to do so, you know. So it's very, very important, you know, it lets you know the kind of employment contract it is. And then also it tells you how termination goes about. Let's say, for example, you've got a contract that's like 3 years. They'll tell you that they can terminate anytime, which means they have no obligation to let you know that we're terminating. They can rock up and be like, hey, tomorrow we're terminating, right? And then some termination clauses will tell you that you have to receive a written notice or a 30-day notice to say, hey, we can't keep you any longer and stuff like that. Or they also tell you that when you want to resign, how many days notice do you need to put in? Some people tell you 30 days notice. Some people tell you a month. Some people will tell you you can resign with immediate effect, you know, and all of that. So you are able to know that. And then also there's, why am I forgetting this clause? My boss is not going to be proud if he ever watches this. There's a clause that tells you that you cannot work for a company that does the similar things for the next period of 6 months, 12 months. What do they call it? Oh my God, Steve is not going to be proud of me as well. I know this clause, guys. I know the name of this clause. So this clause basically tells you that you are barred or you are temporarily prevented from working within the very same sector or kind of business that you're working in that particular company for a certain period of time. So you wouldn't know that. Imagine you didn't read your employment contract. You go and apply for a job at a competitor, and then they see you there and then they sue you, or they force you to resign, or they take you to court to say, hey ma'am, we told you in your employment contract there's a clause that tells you that you can't work for law firms that do commercial law, you know, and here you are, you start acting confused, and when they take out the employment contract, it actually says that, you know. So it's very, very important that you are able to read your employment contract. And then also another clause that's very important, breach. What happens when you breach the employment contract? Because remember, like I said, it tells you of your responsibilities, your working hours, your salary expectations, your leave days. Should you break any of those terms, what happens? Some people tell you you're fired with immediate effect, but that's not practical. It really happens because sort of some people take you to CCMA and stuff like that and tell you that it's against the laws to actually just dismiss a person because they went on leave or whatever the case may be, right? But also termination clause tells you what happens. Should we get a mediator? Should we take the matter for arbitration? Also, this happens a lot with like bigger companies, right? Like let's say I'm a writer and then I write for a certain company, right? And then we have a dispute. In the contract that we have, it would regulate how disputes between us should be handled. Some people would say we should get a mediator. Some people would say no, once a breach happens, we're canceling. Some people would say okay, fine, after that we have to look at, it depends on the extent of the breach and stuff like that. Also, another thing, your employment contract, or rather your contract in a general perspective, it will tell you what laws govern your relationship. Some people tell you, I think I've drafted, or rather I've reviewed a contract where it was governed by Australian laws, which means whatever happens, we need to consult the Australian courts, you know? So yeah. So it's very important that you know which laws govern that particular contract, or that particular. In other words, okay, there's a slight difference, right, in contract and agreement. I won't go into it, but some people would say what laws govern the agreement, because also an agreement entails how two parties are gonna relate with one another. It sort of also regulates, right? While it's in an employment contract, an employment contract regulates the relationship you have with your employer. And then also all employment contracts must be in line with the basic conditions of Employment Act. It should be in line with the Equity Act. It should be in line with laws of South Africa. So if the employment contract in any way is against the basic conditions of Employment Equity Act, you can actually be like, no, minimum wage is 3,000 rand. You are paying me 2,100. This won't work. I'm taking you to the relevant authorities, you know, that kind of thing. But you would never know these things if you're not familiar with your employment contract. So I advise with everything I am, guys, never, ever, ever start a job without reading your employment contract for whatever reason, no matter how excited you are, always ask for time, even if it's a couple of hours, to say, hey, can I go and read this? Even with your pension funds, your funeral policy, read those things, because oftenly people like your salesmen, I don't blame them because they're trying to push sales, but oftenly they want to make you sign on the spot. They really want to give you time. When that happens, say, no, I want to go read this. Because sometimes you find they will tell you, oh no, you can only get your benefits after 75. And at the time you're 21 and you're feeling like, is this worth of investment? Why would I pay 3,000 rand to get it when I'm 75? Why can't I go into an investment where I pay 3,000 rand, I get it when I'm 30, or I get it when I'm 45, So it allows you, when you are informed about an agreement or a contract that you're entering into, it allows you to be able to make rational decisions. It allows you to be able to actually understand the relationship you're entering into. And then secondly, guys, right, before I conclude this video, it's very, very important that you don't start a job without a contract. I don't care who said what. Right? Sometimes verbal agreements work, but usually there's a lot of commotion where there isn't written stuff, because people start speculating things, people start saying things their own way. It becomes a lot of squabbles. But if you are able to actually say, you know what, I know you want to give me this job and I know you think I need to start on the dot. Fine, I can start today. But by tomorrow or by the end of the week, I need you to give me my employment contract or whatever contract or my agreement, so that I'm able to read the conditions, so that I'm able to sign it, so that I'm able to understand it, to know what's going on and the kind of relationships that you have. And then another special PS and note, right? To all the people in the entertainment industry, I know this happens a lot, whereby a lot of the people didn't read their agreements, they didn't read their contracts, and then only when they're in trouble or only when they're being called out, they realize, oh flip, I'm in the wrong. Then that's when they realize that, okay, I should have read it, I didn't read it properly, guys. If you, like, as a creative, first of all, as a creative, have a lawyer. Have a lawyer, guys. I don't, if you're still starting, utilize Google. It's not safe, but utilize Google to get yourself informed, read and understand, ask around if you don't understand. But if you are doing well in your creative career or whatever the case, get a lawyer. Get an attorney like Rem's attorneys that will handle all your entertainment law matters. I'm not even capping. Right, this is not even an ad, but I'm saying get a lawyer. You can't be a creative, you can't be an artist, you can't be a musician, you can't be all these glamorous things and not have a lawyer. Because one, you either going to come across people that defame you on the net. Who do you need? A lawyer. You're gonna come across a situation whereby you've breached your agreement with another client or whatever the case may be. Who are you going to need to negotiate for you? A lawyer. A lot of things are going to happen. You as an artist or as a producer, you're going to need to employ people. You're going to need to draft employment contracts. You're going to need to do a number of things. Who do you need? A lawyer. So please, to all the people in the entertainment industry, all the artists out there, have a lawyer. And the nice thing is, one thing I love about lawyers, particularly with my law firm, we don't charge you for work that we haven't done. We charge you for work that we do. So it's not like you're gonna pay monthly and just be paying 5,000 rand and there's no work done. So you can contract with us and say, okay, hi guys, I want you guys to be my legal team. These are the kind of things that I'm expecting you guys to do for me and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, okay, sure. Here's our mandate. Here's a deposit that you take out that stays in our trust account. And from that, we charge you per hour. We will use money from the trust account. Should the money finish, we tell you, Huri, no, the money is finished. Should the money be left and everything is done, you don't need any legal assistance, you tell us, we keep it there, or actually we give it back to you to say, okay, no, we've done everything for the year, this particular year, here's your change, your matter is done, your matter is concluded. So have a lawyer. I don't know if you heard me and heard me very well. Have a lawyer. And to everyone else, read your employment contracts. And to employers, please be careful how you structure your employment agreements, because some employers actually get in trouble for not structuring their employment agreements according to the Basic Conditions of Employment Equity Act. And Labor Relations Act and all the other regulations that regulate South African labor law, you know. So please, 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 please take it upon yourself that you're careful in how you draft your employment contracts. And as an employee, take it upon yourself that you carefully read and understand the employment agreement and what is required of you. And guys, do not forget to pray for one person each day. Do not forget to pray for those that are seeking for jobs. Today is the day I'm going to be praying for a number of people, those that I know by name and those that I don't know by name. But also, without further ado, do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and tell your friends to tell their friends to actually come through. You can see we accommodate everyone, all types of ages. Like, everyone is accommodated in whatever business. We share knowledge that is useful to every single person. I believe so. Actually, not I believe so. It is a fact. I said what I said. The knowledge that we share in this channel, the knowledge that I share in this channel is beneficial for everyone. One way or another, you will learn. There's no way you can watch this channel and your life remains the same. But anyway, God bless you. Don't forget to be light. Don't forget to be love. Do not forget to be kindness and continue praying for other people. Don't let the devil catch you sleeping. Stay prayed up. God bless you.